Dear friends, masters, and co-creators, this is Dr. Kavitha Kukunoor, President and CEO of KHA. Before we start, we always thank Universe for giving us this great opportunity by meditating on the most supreme Lord, the Creator, with Gayatri Mantra. Om Purvasva Tatsaviturvarenyam Bargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yono Prachodayat. Om Sri Matre Namaha. And today, April 19th, 2026, as part of Swadhyaya, I truly feel blessed to narrate a topic from Dena Merriam's new book, Sita's Yoga, on topic the Yoga of Remembrance. Along with me, Chitra Kamal from Georgia, Master is also here, will also be part of this book reading. And at the end, summary is narrated by Sunita Shivakumar from Kansas. With deep gratitude and heartfelt thanks to Brahmashi Pitamaha Patreji and Swarnamala Amma, taking blessings and thanking my family, parents, extended family, all divine masters, my gurus, friends, KHA Miraculous Minds group meditation, as well as PSSM, PMC, Joy team, and also our KHA study group doctors. I offer my sincere gratitude and heartfelt thanks to Dena Merriam for blessing me with the opportunity to speak on her new book, taking Lord Hanuma blessings and his divine light to give us strength. Whatever I share today and we all speak flows from Sitama through Dena Ji and to us. I am merely their humble servant. And since we started this book series on March 8th, 2026, let me take opportunity to tell a little bit because this will be our 13th topic. So we have covered a lot. So Dena Merriam, who was the author, was born and brought up in the USA. Through her spiritual depth and innate abilities, shares profound experiences connected to Treta Yuga, Sri Ram, Sita Ma. And she began her work in the Interfaith Movement in 1990s as Vice Chairman of Millennium World Peace Summit of religious leaders held at the UN. And she is the student of Paramahamsa Yogananda and a meditation practitioner. She received Nirvana Peace Prize for her interfaith peace efforts. And she has written many books, and out of them, Untold Story of Sita and many more. And I believe everything happens for a reason, and we are all connected today here, the same thing. So, this book was not my original selection, and also whatever we are doing with each session, it is all comes from the intuitions only. And when I had conversation with Dena Merriam recently, end of February, she told about her new book release, Sita Yoga, and suggested me to read it, and immediately ordered the book and started the first series on March 8th, International Women's Day, with the topic The Yoga of Selfless Action. And so, following that, I shared several insights from the book with the different groups, and all recordings have been compiled into a playlist. Also, recently, we are so blessed to have a session with Dr. Saroja Gullapalli Amma from Australia on the topic Humanity and Spirituality. So, for those, just listing the topics, 12 topics, whichever we were covered, and they're also available on the YouTube channel, Kavitha Kukunoor, with the playlist Sita's Yoga. The Yoga of Merging with the Unified Field, with the Swayam Master from Joy Team. And that has in connection with today's topic. So stay tuned to it. And the Yoga of Transcendence of Name and Form, and the Yoga of Inner Attunement. We have covered the Yoga of Self-Reflection and Non-Reaction, the Yoga of Mind over Matter, the Yoga of Awakening Heart, the Yoga of Love, the Yoga of Non-Interference, the Yoga of Selfless Action, the Yoga of Non-Possessiveness, the Yoga of Forgiveness. And also we are so fortunate to have Dena Ji sharing her profound insights on the Yoga of Gratitude at KHA Miraculous Minds platform last year. And it is also again great joy and blessing that she's coming again on Mother's Day this year. We are hosting a retreat on her book. So please attend that session. And Dena Merriam's books always start with visionary dreams. And Dina ji says, for the first time, I'm writing a story that is not my own. It is a story that has been told to me. She says, the narrator of the story is a great soul who abide in the high astral realm, filled with consciousness of Sita Ma, also known as Mata. So it is a story of a woman named Devani showing glimpses of life towards the end of Treta Yuga. So this is the book and the topic, the Yoga of Remembrance. Past and present merged, eradicating the demarcations of time and space. Wherever I put my mind, that is where I was. That's what Devan is saying, how the both past and present got merged. There is a purpose of to forgetting our past, but also a purpose to remembering, because remembering allows us to put together the pieces of the vast puzzle that is our life and see the wondrous interweaving that emerges. Each one of us has embarked on an untold number of excursions into the physical plane, but those excursions must be seen as a whole, not piecemeal, not many lives, but one with a definite number of chapters. In relative terms, there is a before and an after. Book ends to our current identity, but truly there is no beginning or end in sight. For eternal means just that, unending. So, even see, when we forget, there is a purpose. And also, there is a purpose of remembering. So, when we remember the past instance, it is like a puzzle we are putting together and connecting. And it says like there is a, it is like a whole. See, small pieces put together as a whole. So, we are seeing our own lives as a whole, as a indefinite number of chapters in a book. And there is before and after, and book ends to our current identity. So there is no beginning and there is no end, like that. It is unending process. By the time I, as Devani, reached my adult years, I had already retrieved memories of numerous previous births, and I also knew that I had been a long time since my last embodied journey on earth. So Devani, now she became in the story as an adult. So she can recollect all the previous lives she had underwent. When I was a child, my mother used to tease me about my difficulty in functioning in a human body. Walking and speaking did not come easily to me, as I was used to traveling and communicating through thought. So, as a child, her mother used to tease her because of her, she's not functioning as expected. So, she's going through her thoughts. She's traveling and communicating through her thoughts. And remember being frustrated that my tiny body could no longer do this. And she has a tiny body. I was not accustomed to the limitations of the senses and knew that my human eyes could not capture all there was to see. My ears could not hear beyond a very limited range, and yet I yearned to hear and see what my physical senses would not allow. So, with if five senses, she's not able to do, but she's doing beyond the five senses. So that is with ears she could not hear what she, that has to be heard, but she's hearing more than what over the physical senses. What my physical senses would not allow, that she is able to hear and see. I was encased, imprisoned, and restricted, and yet had to make do. This perception never left me, but it was not until my first meditation with Kian and Uma that the memory of that other world my home, written and revealed itself with such vividness. So Uma and Kian in the last chapter with Swayam, which we did, the yoga of unified field, merging with the unified field. There, Woman Kian, she met them, right? And first time she had meditation with them. And in that meditation, it's merging with the unified field, all that experience. She has returned to the home, both astral world and everything she has seen. Such vividness. It was a place or state of being from which I never really departed. So once she went there, she is not able to come out of it. I had only silenced the part of me that still resided there for the purpose of becoming more fully aware of the here and now. I do not know how else to describe what I experienced, except to say that I understood myself to be in both places, both here and there. So she has experienced profound that enlightenment, that light and everything. So she's there here and as well as in the astral world, and she's not able to express all that experiences, but she understood that she's there at both places simultaneously. Although there is no spatial quality to what the mind perceives, and it is all the mind where the attention is placed, for the mind creates our reality. So wherever our mind goes, there it creates the reality. Wherever consciousness is, there is where we appear to be. And again the same, wherever our conscious is there we appear to be. If we direct our conscious to that other reality, we become aware of ourselves in that realm. So if we direct our consciousness to the higher realm, we will be there. Soon after I met Sadanand, we had a chance to be alone a few weeks after our first meeting. So Sadanand is another person we know, right, in the other chapter. So Devani met him, and there is again a relationship with Sajid, Devani's daughter, and the Sadanand. They were so close friends. So now she met Sadanand at Uma and Kian's place. She met him, and we were departing Uma's cottage after our meditation when he offered to walk me back to my college cottage. So after the meditation, so Sadanand and Devan were walking. We walked slowly, and before arriving, we sat down on an outcropping of rocks by the side of the road. Although I had not shared with Kian and Uma my experiences while meditating with them, since it did not seem necessary, I was curious about what this new young friend experienced when he first joined the group. So I asked if he felt comfortable sharing. He nodded, and after several moments of silence, he began. So, usually after the meditation, we ask, like, what are our experiences? And some say all the experience. So, she wanted to know what Sadhana felt after the meditation. After the meditation that night, I had my first memory of my previous birth. He began haltingly. I was an old man living in a village in the kingdom of Vaideha. We were in the process of building a new road when our Maharaja Janaka Baba came to view our progress. So now Sadhanam in his meditation, so he is sharing his meditation experiences where he saw himself as an old man in Vaideha in that kingdom, and they were working on the building the new road. And that time Janaka Baba was the Maharaja, and he used to come and check the people and see the progress. He began to work with us since he often assisted the villagers in their endeavors. So even Janaka Baba also was working, helping the villagers, working with them. Then something happened. A stone he was carrying slipped and fell on his foot. Sita, then a young girl, had come with him and witnessed this event. I happened to be watching her since it was clear that she was an unusual child. I noticed her surprise and questioning look at her father winced in pain when the stone fell on him, and there was a momentary pause before she ran to see whether he was hurt. So while carrying a stone fell on Janak Baba, and so he was showing expressing with the he has a pain, and he was carrying at that time Sita Ma is also with him. So she's seeing all this. And there was a momentary pause before she ran to see whether he was hurt. My son's home was nearby, so he and few others rushed to help bring the Maharaja to the cottage while I went to get medicine. So Sardanand's, he's the old man, right? That time his son's cottage was close by, so he went to get medicine uh, to give to Janak Baba. Sita followed him to the cottage and stayed with him while I brought the medicine which my son applied. Others from the village were also there, trying to make the Maharaja comfortable. After several minutes, everyone left the room so he could rest, everyone except Sita, thinking that they might need further assistance. I stayed by the doorway but outside the room, and by chance I overheard the conversation between them. Pitaji, I heard her ask, Pitaji, I have seen you heal yourself before. Why don't you do so now? So what happened? Sita Ma was seeing all this one. So people were showing care and love and helping him so much support and applied the ointment and so take care of him. So Sitama was asking, so Pitaji, I have seen you heal yourself before, but why don't you do so now? I heard him reply, these friends are eager to express their affection for me, and I am eager to receive it. These people, these friends, are eager to express their affection to me, and I'm eager to receive their affection. Their affection. If I heal myself, what benefit would they gain? They feel badly that I have been hurt while helping them, but now they can show their care and gratitude. It would be selfish of me not to allow that. So he's saying that they are showing affection, so let them show. So by that they are showing their care and gratitude. If I heal by myself, it feels like as if I'm selfish and I'm not allowing them to show their care and gratitude. Sita said she understood and then said quietly, when the stone fell on you, I saw that you felt pain for a moment and then you seemed to no longer feel pain. So she noticed and she's asking her questions. So initially you felt pain, but later on you did not feel the pain. You saw that. He asked with a smile. She answered in the affirmative and he responded. This is something you also will learn. When you take your consciousness away from the body, you rise above whatever the body is experiencing and no longer identify with that which is experiencing pain. It is the body, not you. So, when you separate yourself from the body, then you don't feel that pain. When you take your consciousness away from the body, you rise above whatever the body is experiencing and no longer identify with that which is experiencing pain. So it is the body, not you. At that moment, my son's wife brought food and I entered the room again with other family members and I saw how happy they were to be able to serve their beloved Maharaja. Neighbors were also bringing food, and as he had said, it was love given and love received. So he was saying many people were coming showing the love. It is a love given and love received. See, when we are sick or not well, People will come and show their affection, care, love, and bring food to us. We feel so good. See, that is what we are giving them also the opportunity to show that love and care. And I stood there observing the scene, and I believe Sita realized that I overheard their conversation. As she gazed at me, something, because see, whatever is happening between Janaka Baba and Sita, Sadanand was listening uh, outside, right, at the doorway. So she knew that he's listening. As she gazed at me, something powerful was transmitted. I cannot say exactly what it was, but a bond was formed. Even as a young girl, Sita was an extraordinary being. So he has realized that something, a bond between Sita and her. So even though as a child, so it is a powerful, some is bond he felt. I did not see her again because I died soon after. I was reborn rather quickly in this village, and since my earliest childhood felt much devotion to Sita, who is now our Maharani, without remembering my earlier connection with her. So, since he was old, he soon died, and later he was reborn quickly in the village. And that time, as an so as since my earliest childhood felt was much devotion to Sita. At that time, now Sita was Maharani, known as Maharani, and he do not remember that one without remembering my earlier connection with her. But this memory returned after our meditation, and that night I also had a dream and vision where I overheard a similar conversation between Sita and Vibhishana when she was in Lanka. Without voicing his concern, Vibhishana internally wondered why Ram did not come to save her, since he knew that Ram had the power to do so. So again, what happened during the meditation? Sadanand, he recollected, got remembrance of this past life and everything, and also he was able to remember the between Sita and Vibhishana, their conversation. And when Vibhishana was asking, like, why Ram can come and protect, right? He has the power to do save Sita Ma, right? He has power to do. Then Sita picked up his thought and affirmed, "You are right, Vibhishana. Ram has such power, but then he would deprive others of the benefit they would gain from their righteous deeds." Again, the same thing. He has power, but if he does save me, then he would deprive others. People who are wanted to do the care and do that job, he's depriving the benefit of others they would gain from these righteous deeds. Long ago, in an earlier incarnation, some of those born in the Vanara tribe had received a special blessing from Narayan, and because of their gratitude, they committed to serving him in the future. So, she was saying that long time ago, Vanaras, they got this blessing from Narayan that they that they will get opportunity to serve Ram in future. So that is what is right now Ram is giving to them. He is allowing that desire to be fulfilled. So much of what happens is for the sake of fulfilling words, deeds, and aspirations. Aspirations is the strong goals from the past. Sadanand paused. As he reflected on what he had said, then he began again. Tonight, when we were all together in the astral plane, I found myself once more in the body of that old man from Vaideha, overhearing the conversation between Sita and her father, and at the same time, I was in the subtle world overhearing Sita's conversation with Vibhishana, which took place maybe a decade ago, and I was also here in this village, meditating with you and the others. So Sadanand in the meditation, he was everywhere. He's connecting, even present, past, and over decades also. I can only conclude that I was in several places at same time. Past and present merged, eradicating the demarcations of the time and space. Wherever I put my mind, that is where I was. I do not quite understand it because I have never experienced anything quite like that. So it is for him, it is a surprise. Mm. And all of this was happening while you were with us in the astral plane. I mused. So when all are there in the astral plane, it is happening. Correct. He replied. But I realized something else, a profound truth. What is that? I asked curiously. By allowing the villagers to care for and serve him, Janaka Baba was enabling them to gain merit and neutralize some negative karma. So, the truth, profound truth is Janaka Baba, when he allowed the people, when he got hurt, when the stone fell, so it was allowing the people to care and serve him. So, by that, is giving merit, credit to them, and also neutralizing, removing their karma, negative karma, neutralize their some negative karma. Similarly, Ram was enabling the Vanara tribe to gain merit by assisting him. Same thing Ram was doing to the Vanara tribe. Otherwise, he would have saved Sitama. What would have been achieved alone was turned into a collective effort because that served the collective good where more people would benefit. Is this not a message for us? Exactly, this is a message for all of us because what one person can do, but if we involve many people, see, same thing. I don't know for what reason, but when a thought came that I myself can read, but I wanted to give that opportunity to have everyone. And by intuition, like today's Chitraji is there, and Sunita Shivkumar is there, and many masters, Swayam Master, and many masters. So we are all, as a collective, feel enjoying taking the Sita Ma's blessings. So it is not the one, it is the collective feel has more benefit. So I was thoughtful for a few moments as I realized the application of this teaching to our lives. If our Maharaja came and removed Manish, now Devan is seeing the situation of her village. If our Maharaja came and removed Manish, Manish is the person who is causing all the conflict in the village from his position. What would we learn? We ourselves in the village had to counter the harm he's causing, and it had to be done spiritually by increasing the power of our light, by committing ourselves more consciously to the laws of dharma. So now she said, suppose if Maharaja removes Manish from his position, that will not solve the problem, but we don't learn any lesson. But when we do together spiritually and consciously by following the laws of dharma, I knew that in the past I had overstepped these laws and I had to amend my past shortcomings if I was to fulfill my potential. After listening to Sadanand describe his experiences, something was transmitted to me, and that night, I sat alone in my meditation corner of the cottage. I was catapulted into the interior world where I found myself sitting with him as he counted this incident from his life in the Videha kingdom. The same story he had just told me. It was his only meeting in that life with Sita and Janaka Baba, and it fulfilled a great longing of his. When he died, he left that life having received a blessing from serving Janaka Baba, and this drew him to take birth in a place where he could meet Sita again. So, Devani, In her meditation, she is again memorizing all the things, whatever has happened to Sadanand and what all he has described. See, he served Janaka Baba, and that is what, why he was able, he was blessed again to reborn and meet Sita again. Truly, Janaka Baba had given the villagers an opportunity to receive such a blessing. I had already awakened to the part of myself that resided elsewhere, and in deep meditation that night, I transferred my awareness to the other part of my being into wholeness of who I am. So she is saying that she, in the meditation, she got awakened to the herself, to the other place as well as of her whole being, who I am, into a recent past before I was born. So she's connecting all the dots before she was born, who I was born. That was not really a past because I had come to realize the convergence of all time periods. So she's connecting all the dots and understanding the convergence of all time periods. And I would now want Chitra ji, please continue.
Seated in a familiar, most beautiful
I think there is
setting,
voice interruption, Chitraji.
a filled beautiful setting, a garden filled with an exquisite. Seated in a familiar, most beautiful setting, a garden filled with the exquisite assortment of flowers, once not found on earth, I was surrounded by dear ones, including the one I knew as Sadananda. Our light bodies fluctuated with waves of love as we listened to him describe Mithila and effuse his unbounded love for great Maharaja, known to all as Janak Baba. He he related an incident taking place on earth, an injury to the beloved Baba, and the care that rushed to him from all directions. From our elevated realm, we witnessed that scene, bathing in love and the joy that our friend now emitted. Then, with the eyes alight, he proclaimed that Universal Mother had taken birth in that land, and he invoked us to come witness this rare event. When we heard those words, the entirety of her life on earth unfolded before our eyes, her marriage, the exile, the battle in Lanka, her return and retreat to the forest. It all flashed before us in less than a moment as we became aware of the Great One who had projected herself into human existence. While she was still here in our world of light, as she was present everywhere in the universe all at once. The one who was to be born as Sadanand at that moment was on earth living out the last days of his life in Videha kingdom, and at the same time he was with us in that elevated plane. We saw him in both places, but this does not startle us because that is the nature of omnipresence, and omnipresence is our true nature. We are there and here and everywhere we want or need to be. As I pierced more deeply the veil that separates the worlds, I saw that some of the others who sat with me were already projecting themselves into human existence, and the remaining ones were contemplating their entry as well. They were following her, dreaming themselves into physical world, while at the same time they were still by my side in this elevated plane. I was the only one who seemed to hesitate, unsure of whether to enter a womb or not. Although so many centuries had passed since my last going out, I remembered too well the confinement, the limitations, the struggles of human life, and the forgetting of this limitless realm. I was not eager to leave behind the world I knew, but I was also drawn to her, the one who could free me from the remaining ties that kept me from ascending further. I rose and left others, all of whom I knew so well. We had a long association, meeting at different times on earth and on the subtle planes. We were a unit, and often what one did, the others followed. But I now separated myself undecided. I wandered to a different place and then sat down alone in a vast field of grasses that swayed to the song of light. My thoughts drifted, my thought drifted to earth, and I saw the birds. They were taking their encasements in new physical forms. I was pulled by their love, but I didn't want to follow. To distract myself, I rose and went to find others whom I knew, who were not taking birth on earth. I sat with them, hoping to disengage myself from earth. Their thoughts were not of physical world. They were free of earthly ties and were on the verge of ascending further into the subtler forms of being. But as much as I tried, I couldn't harmonize with their vibrations because my thoughts kept returning to earth, to that universal mother who had taken birth there. I can be with her here. I thought to myself, it is not necessary to enter physical form, resisting when I knew could not for long be resisted, not able to harmonize with others. I again rose and wandered off. This time I sat alone trying to enter the stillness to regain a state of equilibrium, but I began to experience a definite tremor as if something was seeking to unsettle this world of light, a subtle force, and I knew it was coming from the physical field.
So here,
To
one
me,
second,
it was a
Chitraji.
palpable, like a weight pulling me down, a shadow enveloping me from which I
Chitraji, we can't
couldn't
hear you, Chitraji.
escape.
Hello?
Left I rose and left the others, all of whom I knew so well. We had a long association, meeting at different times on earth and on the subtle planes. We were a unit, and often what one did, the others followed. But I now separated myself undecided. I wandered to a different place and then sat down alone in a vast field of grasses that swayed to the song of light. My thoughts drifted to earth, and I saw the birds they were taking their encasements in new physical forms. I was pulled by their love, but I didn't want to follow. To distract myself, I rose and went to find others whom I knew who were not taking birth on earth. I sat with them, hoping to disengage myself from earth. Their thoughts were not of the physical world. They were free of earthly ties and were on the verge of ascending further into subtler forms of being. But as much as I tried, I couldn't harmonize with their vibrations because my thoughts kept returning to earth, to that universal mother who had taken birth there.
So
I can.
Chitraji, here I will take a pause. So she's Devani, she's thinking whether to go to take a physical form or not. So she's seeing everywhere, people in the higher realms, how they are doing, all she's checking. And again, but there is a pull for her to, because Mata is there, right? She took the physical form. So there is a pull towards the universe mother to be taken the physical form. So that is where she's searching whether to be born, reborn
Oh
in
no.
the physical form or not.
I can be with her here. I thought to myself, it is not necessary to enter physical form, resisting what I knew could not for long be resisted. Not able to harmonize with the others, I again rose and wandered off. This time I sat alone trying to enter the stillness to regain a state of equilibrium. But I began to experience a definite tremor, as if something was seeking to unsettle this world of light. A subtle force, and I knew it was coming from the physical field. To me, it was palpable, like a weight pulling me down, a shadow enveloping me from which I couldn't escape. Something was breathing on earth that affected even this place of peace and beauty, mental realms away from the suffering and grievances of human life. The thought of war entered my mind as memories awakened. I had experienced conflict numerous times during my various excursions into the material realm, and I knew the darkness and agony of strife, but there was no war on earth, at least not yet. It was a premonition, a foreshadowing of what was to come, and the early signs were already seeping into the higher worlds, disturbing the natural equilibrium as negative thought forms abounded. Events moved quickly after that. I was part of a collective, and the collective was responding. Before I realized what was happening, I acquiesced. I released my resistance, and the process of rebirth began, despite knowing full well the pain of forgetfulness, the suffering entailed in each return. When the slate of memory is wiped clean, and everything mm, must be relearned and recovered. I sighed as I heard the gentle voice whisper the word trust. She has taken on the limitations of human birth, I murmured, thinking that if she has made such sacrifice, who was I to resist? Turning my mind to her, I saw that she had gone through the travails of infancy, a sacrifice for sure, but giving so many people an opportunity to love and care for her.
So here,
And
Chitraji, so she's seeing how Sita Ma, she sacrificed and took the physical form to help. So now Devani in the higher realm, she's hesitating whether to go down and take the physical form or not. Now, when she saw Sitama, then she thought like, okay, when she was able to sacrifice, I can also take physical form. she's again connecting to that.
As these images flew across my mind, I caught sight of her, a flickering image resting for a moment before my sight before disappearing. And the journey began as I followed her into the physical realm, accepting whatever might come. It was not a willful act, but rather a karmic decree, and with her appearance, I was magnetically drawn into the beginnings of a human body. A sweet sleep overcame me as I projected and dreamed myself into a new physical form to become the one known as Divani. My consciousness returned to bodily awareness, and opening my eyes, I realized that I was in my cottage with my human family. Yet a part of me was still in the subtle world of light, seated beside that soul I know knew as Sadananda. I had seen his old body in Mithila and his light body in that wondrous world and the young body of Sadananda. I knew myself to be in two places at once and perhaps more. A pre-birth memory had returned to me, a memory of living in the reality of omnipresence. I was also aware of that moment when I felt some disturbance in the world of light. Was it possible for negative forces to invade the higher worlds? Unable to find the answer on my own, I put the matter aside and rather focused on the awareness of being present in more than one place, more than one time period, hoping that I could hold on to this newborn awareness. My morning, by morning, that other me, the me living in the world of light, had receded and gone dormant once more. As soon as I could, I hurried to the cottage of Sadanand to see what more he recalled. His mother opened the door and I inquired after him. She said he had gone to the forest to clear some branches that had fallen earlier in the week. I knew where he was and made my way there. I found him in the middle of clearing the fallen branches, which blocked the path through the forest. As soon as he saw me making my way down the narrow path, he paused his work. I greeted him quietly, then he motioned for me to follow as he led me to nearby small clearing where we could sit comfortably. We entered meditation and again that other world replaced this one. I found myself among our same group meditating together in the astral world, dreaming ourselves into our earthy roles. It was not a vision or memory of the past, but a realization of a truth in the present. There, the here and now. I was meditating in both places at once, and I understood that we were engaged in creating a unified spiritual field that would lift the vibrations and influence the collective mind. Ram and Sita had planted the seeds, and many beings were needed to manifest the vision they were implanting. Beings from various worlds of light had taken birth in human form to be part of this grand endeavor. While meditating in that subtle world of life, sorry, while meditating in the subtle world of light, I was also conscious of my physical body meditating beside Satanand in the forest, and the thought came to me to hold awareness of both, to be conscious of myself and other existing in both worlds at the same time. The small group of men and women who came together at Kian's home were the very dear ones with whom I sat in the subtle world of light. On some level, it was determined that we would take birth together. That day in the forest, seated with Sadanand, I rested in the beauty and joy of that light filled world where so many of my loved ones still resided and where all possibilities can manifest. I heard and saw things that human ears and eyes cannot perceive, but I could not stay indefinitely in that state, for duty called me back to the world of limitations.
Wonderful. So nice. So now Devani is connecting to that unified field with Sadhanand. Again, same thing. In the as everywhere she could able to see, wherever her mind goes, there she will be. Wherever her consciousness goes, there she can see everything. And and again now she got back to the her physical things. I reopened my eyes and saw that Sadanand was also returning to the external world. A slight smile rested on his face. We all hold memories of that other place, although they may be so faint that we can barely discern them. But the more we can retrieve the part of ourselves that still abides in that higher realm, the more we can bring the radiance of that world into this one. I was beginning to experience a deep spiritual truth that had evaded me, the truth of omnipresence. So, omnipresence. See, just like Sadanand was able to feel higher realm and at different times, different spaces, everywhere he could able to see himself. The same way Devani also was able to see herself in different places, in the astral plane and in the physical and everywhere unified. After emerging from meditation, I did not linger in the forest. With a heartfelt pranam and a few words of gratitude, I left Sadanand to finish whatever work was left. A few weeks later, I joined him and others in the home of Kian and Uma. As before, we did not need to greet each other or say many words. As soon as we gathered, we entered meditation and sat that way for a number of hours. As I transferred my consciousness to that world of light, where I found the others also present, I was filled with great joy and overwhelming love. But at a certain moment, I remembered the foreboding presence I had felt before taking birth, and this memory disrupted the serenity and joy. And as my mind again wondered how negative energies could invade this higher reality, these thoughts kept catapulting me back into physicality, cutting short my stay in that world of light. Unable to regain my inner equilibrium and not wanting to disturb the others. So, even though she is in that meditation, she's feeling that the negative energies from the physical plane getting into the even the higher places. I quietly got up and left the cottage, leaving the others to enjoy the stillness. I could not explain why I was perturbed, but the feeling stayed with me throughout the night. I was unable to erase from my mind the sense of unease, and I was unable to understand how it could penetrate into the astral realms, which I thought were immune to such disturbances. So even it can go to the thoughts, and the negativity can also go to the astral realms. That is what she was feeling. The next morning, I went to Uma's. At first, I did not bring up my experience of the previous evening, but then I could not help but describe it and ask, can negative energies or some foreboding elements appear in the astral world? So that is what she was feeling. So she was asking her. We experienced the same, Devani. She replied quietly, "We are a unified field, and what one of us experiences, we all feel." I also have been reflecting on this. Before we were born, we experienced the disturbances caused by Ravana, which reached into the astral worlds. So, whatever that negative thoughts she was getting, she asked Uma, and they were also having the people, Sadanand and everyone also, they in that unified field, they also were experiencing that negative uh, things coming up because of the caused by the Ravana. You're tapping into that, and although now it's been several years since the end of the Great War, the suffering it caused, which so many people endured, still lingers in the ethers. Those memories do not automatically disappear. Healing takes time. So they're saying that those memories, it also went to the astral realm. That whatever that has happened, evil things, the Ravana. But it takes, for the healing, it takes time. It is natural that we would pick up on that. And yes, when there is great suffering on earth or any place else, this affects the equilibrium of the higher worlds. All realms are interconnected. So, how can what happens here not affect other planes, other states of being? Perhaps that is why we and others were born in this time, to help re-establish that equilibrium. So, in both worlds are interconnected. So, anything that happens in the physical world can also affect the higher realm. And that is the reason we are, as a spiritually souls, we are all born here to re-establish the equilibrium. Don't you remember hearing how Ravana's son Indrajit sought to overtake the higher worlds? That is how he got the name Indrajit, conqueror of Lord Indra, ruler of the higher mental realms. He did not accomplish this, but he created the illusion that he had, and I believe he did penetrate the minds of some of the beings in the mental realm. Ravana and Indrajit are somewhere in this universe, and who knows whether they have yet cleansed their hearts. We might still pick up on their vibrations, but we must not let it unsettle us. Illusions will seek to trap us to no matter where we are. Ravana is an example of this. He fell from high state of consciousness. That is why we must be firmly anchored until we reach the fully awakened state of being. Illusions can overtake us. To reach that state, all karma must be dissolved. All illusions of separateness. So once we dissolve that karma and the illusions of separateness, then we can get awakened. That is what we are here to do. Whether we are here or in the astral realm, we must be resolute and unshakable, impervious to negative energies, negative emotions. If we allow anything to shake us, we must look inside and find the cause, get to the root. The conflict that Ravana set in motion is an expression of the external battle between light and darkness. Shadows lurk in the collective mind, and the mind creates our reality. So, the battle which Ravana has set in motion, it is between the light and darkness, the battle between the light and darkness. But fortunately, there is strength in numbers, and here in our village, we are now countering negative energies as a unified field, no longer individually. And this is what Mata is guiding us to do. She paused and then added, "None of us can proceed further until we have freed ourselves from all negative and harmful emotions. Whatever remnants of the past remain, Mata has brought us together for this purpose." So once we overcome, free from all our negative and harmful emotions, then only we can help the village people. Of course, there could be a relationship between what happens here and what happens there. I murmured. She nodded and replied, it is one continuous reality, completely interwoven. Had Ravana won the battle, those worlds of light would have been darkened by the entry of pride and greed, and many beings would have suffered. That battle in Lanka did not pertain only to earth. In the same way, whatever happens here in our village will affect places elsewhere. This is why we must counter the negative emotions within ourselves and in others. So what she is saying is we have to overcome counter negative emotions within us and in the others. So if Ravana won the battle, then everything would have been darkened, right? So this is not limited to the earth, it is everywhere this situation can happen. I left Uma's cottage that day, still dwelling on the realization that the beautiful astral worlds is affected by what takes place on earth, a matter that would preoccupy me for some time because it made me realize there is no escape. We had to work to secure peace and harmony on the physical plane in order to ensure the well being of other realms. So, what is in order to for the well-being of everywhere in higher realms also, first we need to have the peace and harmony on the physical plane, because anything here it can also go and spread into the higher realms. Over the next days and weeks, I found myself often in that world of light, mostly experiencing complete serenity, but at times also sensing negative impulses that sought entry, but those unsettling vibrations were so much less than I remembered from being taking birth. With Ravana's death, the harmful forces on earth had subsided. In that other world where love prevails, negative energies did not survive for long. They might break through to the edges of that reality, the long horizon in the distance, but they are soon dissolved. Such is the overwhelming power of love, and I took great comfort in this, often reflecting on how to bring the transforming love into the daily matters of life on earth. Where is that world of light? I cannot say, but I know it exists. And I know that I live there as well as here in my village in the Kausala kingdom. This knowledge was not embedded deeply in my consciousness, and over time, I no longer disconnected from the part of myself that lives elsewhere. Meditating or not, I was conscious of myself abiding in two places at once, and over time, this awareness was to expand, and I could find myself in multiple places without stirring from my physical body. Later that night, in sleep, I heard the words, this is the yoga of remembrance. The remembrance of your omnipresence. You are there everywhere. And I knew it was Mata's teaching with all old memories of that other place higher realm, although they may be so faint that we can barely discern them. But the more we can retrieve the part of ourselves that still abides in that higher realm, the more we can bring the radiance of that realm into this one. I understand that we were engaged in creating a unified spiritual field that would lift the vibrations and influence the collective mind. So that is what we are doing today with this spiritual gathering Swadhyaya and that unified field we have created. And thank you so much to Sita Ma, Dena ji, and Chitra ji. And now we want Sunita Shivkumar to share the summary, please.
Can you hear?
Yes, we can hear.
Actually, I have having problem with laptop, so I will talk for the moment. So thank you, Master Kavitha. Thank you, Master Chitra Madam.
If possible, you can turn on video if possible. Otherwise, it's okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so today's topic, you guys covered a lot, and starting from Devani, like her childhood, she had like challenges physically, like walking, talking. So she felt that her mother was making fun or fun of her. So though she was physically weak, but spiritually she is in a higher soul connection, like in the higher consciousness. So the subtle realm, yes, they say. And in her meditation, she has so much power, like she could feel, like not in the uh, physical form. And please correct me, madam, if I'm telling anything wrong. So yeah, and then it also covered about Sadanand, who also in the meditation in the higher worlds, like our physical body is limited to only like some space. If we are sitting in a chair, physically we feel that we are here, but spiritually in the conscious world we are everywhere. That is what they say. Like you may say that chaitanya atma or paramatma, it is everywhere. And then these people, they were in the subtle worlds, in the subtle realms, they are doing meditation, and they are getting all the memories of their past births. And in this, one more topic you guys covered is like Janaka Maharaja. So even though he was a king, when the people in the village are trying to build some, construct some work, so he was helping. He came to see and how they are working, and when he was helping, one stone fell on his foot, I think. Then the village people, Sadanand, I mean his sons, they went and they took care, and they brought him to into the cottage, and they were doing like giving him medicine, all those things. Then Sita Mata, though she was a child, because she is spiritually connected, she has all the knowledge, she was just observing. When they went out, then she was asking her dad, like Janaka Baba, Baba, you know much, so you know so much, you are spiritually connected, but why you did not heal yourself? Then Janaka Baba said, even though I have the superpowers, but I want them to give a chance to show their gratitude. Like actually, that's Janaka Baba is like he is a spiritual person. He has all the knowledge of Atma, this thing, but just for the purpose of a king, he is doing his duties. So he said that it is the body, those who think that body is limited, they feel the pain. But when you are connected to the spiritual, then you just observe. Like for instance, I can tell you, like Ramana Maharshi, even though he has cancer, he has the some problem on the foot. When the doctors were doing operation, he did not even ask for the what do you say, that anesthesia, because he was observing his body separately, and he is spiritually like Atma Bhavanato, he was observing his body. So like that, Dasharatha, I mean Janaka Baba, he let them do. And one more thing what he said is, let them do some work, gratitude it, because in the previous birth they wanted to do some help to Baba. So in this, like when connecting, it says like, if we have some desires to fulfill, if we keep it, then we take human form, or we come to the on the bhumi, and then we do our duties, like and earth is like the place, it is also called as karma bhumi. When we want to do our work, we come on this, and we decide in the subtle or the unconscious world, like what we have. And one more thing you please correct me if I am wrong. And uh, about this, and Sadanand, he could see the three birds, like old man in the village, when he was in the village, and then seeing the Janaka Baba and thing, and even Devani. These people, they were like, how in the physical form, I am here, you are there, Chitra madam is in one home, you are in one home, we all are connected by speaking and talking. But in the subtle world, they are connected. Then that doesn't need, as per my knowledge, they are connected soul by soul, consciousness, omnipresence, oneness. And then uh, you said, and even coming to Ravana and Indrajit, yeah, uh, I think it is, and they decide whether to come onto the earth or not. So by seeing sometimes like the even our when I see the YouTubes, they say, oh, you have some work to go and do on some work on the earth, like Patriji master, they said, I have come some purpose, I have finished my duty, I am going, but I am everywhere, like even Shirdi Sai Baba or Ramana Maharshi. So Karma Bhumi. So they come and go. And this Devani and Sadanand, uh, whether to take birth or not, again to enter the womb or not, then they thought about Sita Mata. See, even though Mata, she is also going to take a form of Sita Devi, because Ravana is bothering all the people in the kingdom, like all the rishis and the good people. So to punish him, God Narayana and Narayani are going to take form as Sita Rama. So they have some desires to be fulfilled. So they are going to, so, okay, they will go, and because in that village some, I think, money issue is there. So they have in their mind, uh, so like that. And then um uh what else I remember?
No, you have covered it a lot. That is
Okay.
so nice, Sunita. That is, you have covered many things, and yes, absolutely true. And you gave a good summary. And so everyone has felt that unified field, like same thing going in all the births, previous, past, and all the places in the higher realm and on the earth. So that is so nice. And
Yeah, that is what, that's why the title is the Yoga of Remembrance.
remembrance, that's what. And the last topic was in sync with this yoga of unified field. Yes.
Yeah, so
um,
so that's what we all hold memories of that other place, although they may be so faint. I am reading the last one that we can barely discern them. So that's what, like, because of that. So yeah, I understood that we are engaged in the creating a unified spiritual field that would lift the vibrations and influence. Yeah, actually, mainly thing is they want to change them internally, mind. Like that's why they say. Yeah, in their thought process, good emotions, not negative thoughts, that you covered, like your Chitramana
right.
master covered. They're removing the negative thoughts, negative thinking, and the illusion which Ravana and the Indrajit, though they have the powers, they were misusing it with this thing. So okay, so positive vibrations, everything. Okay, thank you, master.
Thank you.
For,
Thank you so much, Sanita, and that's nice. And so, just we will end this session 1 minute with meditation. Okay. Thank you so much, masters. And that was so nice. Just cross your feet and clasp your hands, close your eyes, and just observe your natural, easy, calm breath. We are very much thankful for today's session, and taking Sita Ma's blessings and all the divine gods, thanking each and everyone. Thank you so much, masters. And people can continue the meditation. And whoever has to leave, please come back to consciousness and place your hands on your eyes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And open your eyes with beautiful smile and hug yourself. Thank you so much. And we see you all again in another session. Thank you, Master. Thank you,
Thank
Chitraji.
you, Kavitha ji, for giving
Thank
me
you,
an
Kavitha ji and
opportunity. Thank you
Chitraji.
so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
Thank you,
Chitraji.
Sunita ji.
Thank you, Gayatri ji and Sunita. So very, very nice. Thank you, Master.
Thank you, Master. Thank you, Kavitha Master. Thank you,
Thank you.
Chitra Master.
Thank
Chitraji.
you. Thank you.
Okay.